Welcome to this new year 2026, and we hope it all goes well for everyone, including me and you. Today, what I would like to speak much about or talk and give more light into is pick up from where we left. In the last video, I talked about how I got it easy in my primary school, then got it hard in my secondary school, then actually became tougher in my university. In my primary school, if I do remember, I didn't put much effort into books, but I was among the top performers. I don't pride about that, but I was among them. But I don't remember any one time reading textbooks like in class. I would just attend classes, do the normal examinations, and move over. So that had become my norm when I was in primary. When it came to secondary, the school I went to, I faced challenges, as I said earlier on, with coping up with these brilliant students we have around. So in my primary, I ended up being among the top performers in my district by then. In my district, that's in the Ugandan sense, the district. I ended up being among the top performers. To me, it was even a shock. Me personally, I used to do things and I didn't think about the marks and all the things, but it was a shock. It all came naturally. So that saying, they say that with greatness comes great responsibility or something like that. Obviously, everyone expected me to do a lot in my secondary, but it didn't happen as they thought. To me, all this while, people have been pressuring me. They know I did well, so I should continue doing better. But in me, I didn't take it much because I was living a moment the same way I lived through my baby class to my primary, the same way I kept on living from my secondary to the HAC, then to the university. I kept on doing the same thing, the same way, in, out. It only occurred to me in my fourth year. Actually, it was in my third year, when things had gotten tough. That's when I looked back and tried to track onto my education journey and ask myself, what's wrong? What happened to that once brilliant kid? But it all occurred to me that we very well passed through a system. Sorry for that. I got some little bit of chills and cough. But what occurred to me is that we don't know very much. As a normal student, there are very many things we don't know that happens in those brilliant minds, These people who they say they are very clever. It is by chance that some of these people are like that because they found a way of how to do things. One thing I've learned about being good in doing things is you get your model. of how you do your things. You get a model, or many of the land scholars will say you call them mental models. I realized for the past 24 years, I was actually just using a simple repetitive model of learning. That's where you keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again until you become good at it without you even knowing. Because I remember in my primary, we would do as many tests as possible. Like we kept on doing tests. When you reached P5, we would do numbers. A certain teacher of mine used to make us do numbers, like numbers, math numbers and numbers. If you failed, you would receive your share. If you fail, you would get your share. You know, when you say shares, you understand to African sense what that means. P6, primary 6, same thing. We did test after test. I can guarantee you and tell you that when I was in my primary 7, we were now aging towards doing the final examination to usher you into the secondary. That's the primary level examination in the Ugandan sense. I ended up getting a 4 in one of those papers. Me personally myself, I'd never gotten 1, but in those last papers, I ended up getting 1, and that's how I ended up with the finals. I can guarantee you, we redid numbers until it got into our minds, and when we reached the papers, nothing was new to us. Now that's called the power of repetition. Getting a content, regurgitating it in and out. I personally, for one, didn't know that was a mental model of learning. It just hit me and occurred to me that that is actually a mental model. And I can say we have been, and especially in a society like Uganda, people are ridiculed when you're a learner and you keep on reading the same thing over and over again. If you keep on reading the same thing over and over again and you keep on failing it, you're ridiculed and you're called a bookworm. I don't know if this happens to other societies, but that's what happens. But me personally, I was walking through the system without knowing. I just realized that, oh, that's a mental model. And other people actually have their own learning systems and techniques. Trust me, when I went to my secondary school, we have guys who would just read 1 week. We had guys who would cram things, like had that retention mind. I had some guy who would just wait for a week or so, or even days, and what he sees, he regurgitates it in the paper. It's like everyone have their own ways of doing that thing. That's what I didn't learn. I was in that normal loop of a normal student. We do repetition, and we get used to it. But now, sorry for that. When you enter into that system where everyone are brilliant in their own ways, you don't know. They will never tell you how they do the things. They will never. It's the secret to keep. And so, in this video today, I got to realize that's what I'd been working on for all this time. That mental model. And in these modules, which guys have in most cases, they realize it's by chance, it's by, I don't know, it's by sheer luck that you end up learning. That's how brilliant minds work. They find ways of learning things, like they learn how to learn. And that's how their minds are decongested. But most of us, we don't realize this. I came just to realize of it of recent. A mental module, learning how to learn. Others could use mnemonics and all that in my secondary levels, and I would look at them and be like, why are you wasting your time? Because me, I found it easy. Through repetition, everything was easy for me. You repeat the same thing which normal people have, and you end up with that. But I got challenges when the system wasn't supported, because in my primary school, all these were supported. The teachers made it that way, that we would do that, use that mental model, repetition. In secondary, we had no one to push me through, so I slacked. Though I went through the system, I slacked. I didn't perform like how everyone thought I would do, but I tried. So it came to me that like that's what happens. A mental model. That's what most of us don't know. In my society, actually, we don't know that much. That learning is actually supposed to be learned in a way you can learn. If you would learn this and learn how to learn, I would very much say it would be better as a society, as a learning module. Yeah. So that's what I had on this new year for all of you that are watching me. Learning how to learn as a learning module.